Welcome to Roadshow, and today I'm in a very special place. So special, I can't even tell you where I am. But we are at a James Bond 007 event where there's cars, props, everything you could shake a stick at. If you are a James Bond fan, you're going to love this video. So this event was codenamed Operation ATAC. It's named after the automatic targeting ATAC communicator, a central prop to the storyline of For Your Eyes Only, which is celebrating its 45th anniversary this year. Now this is a private collection of cars and props from the James Bond franchise, and as soon as you enter the massive cave, you can tell you're in for something special. I'll try and talk you through all the things I see today. Cheers. So this is the copper fire bronze Lotus Esprit Turbo from the 1981 James Bond film For Your Eyes Only. After his white Lotus Esprit is destroyed at the start of the film, Q Branch issued him with this awesome replacement. Talking about the car that was blown up, this is the white 1980s Lotus Esprit Turbo, complete with its burglar protected stickers. This is the 1964 Aston Martin DB5 in silver birch. It's widely recognised as the most famous car in cinematic history, introduced in Goldfinger, and has seen many appearances since. Now, not strictly Bond related, but this is the Aston Martin DB7, and it was featured in another spy film, Johnny English, and was driven by Rowan Atkinson. Now this collector has 7 Lotus Esprits, I believe, and no collection would be complete without the Wet Nelly. This custom submarine featured in the 1977 James Bond film, The Spy Who Loved Me. Now on the way outside I passed this awesome modified 1984 Renault 11 TXE Taxi used in the 1985 James Bond film A View to a Kill, which sadly loses its roof and then gets cut in half. Another iconic Bond vehicle is the Little Nelly, the Wallace WA-116 Auto Gyro, featured in the 1967 James Bond film You Only Live Twice. So let me talk you through some of these cars. First one is a Mark I Mustang from Diamonds Are Forever. And that looks just like this. What a lovely car. Now obviously an American car, I can go in this. And that's what we're going to do. Let's drive round to the, let's walk round to the door and see what this looks like inside. Wow, look, it's got the original locks, I love that. But this is how that's looking inside, and it smells like the 70s. Now this one was a lot easier to get into, and there's so much space in here, but check this out. Very 70s dashboard, look at this, with the push button radio. Lovely car though. And we've even got diamonds on the passenger seat. Okay, not strictly Bond, but kind of Bond related. We've got the Saints Jensen Interceptor. This is what that looks like. I love the tan interior on here. Don't know if I can get in this one. I can. Oh, how cool is that? Let's have a look. Wow, look at that. Wooden panelling. Lovely car. Not just cars we got here, we got Jeeps as well. Check this one out. I don't think I've ever seen so many Lotuses in one place. Oh my God. Okay, so these Lotus Esprits, they're very low down to the ground. They're probably going to be really hard to get in, and that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So wish me luck. Oh, here we go. Oh, wow, I just hit my head. So this is inside a Lotus Esprit. Wow. As you can see, the dashboard looks really good. You are really low down, and I really don't think there's any graceful way to get out of this car. But you've got the orange interior with the tartan seats. Absolutely lovely car though. I love things like the indicator stalks. Excellent. Okay, let's do the next challenge, which is to get out the car. Now, there's got to be a way to do this that's graceful. So, keep yourself low. There you go. And then, that wasn't too bad, was it? Lovely. Very nice. I know you want to see something a little bit more modern. Let's go check out the Aston Martin Vanquish. Go on then, I'll sit in the Vanquish. Okay, so this is me sitting in the Vanquish. Again, very low down, but you could just feel the power of that even touching the steering wheel here. Lovely interior, let me show you that. That's the center console. And there you go, there's the dash. And pedals here. Big pedals. Once again, I should be making this a review of how easy it is to get out of supercars. This car is the Aston Martin DBS V12, specifically badge styled as a DBS. It's finished in Quantum Silver, and it's the iconic hero car driven by Daniel Craig's James Bond in the Quantum of Solace, following its debut in Casino Royale. Now, the car next to the Vanquish is the 1969 Aston Martin DBS Sport Saloon. The DBS was famously driven by George Lazenby as James Bond in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. This specific vehicle is famously associated with James Bond in 1987, the 007 film The Living Daylights, driven by Timothy Dalton, who was later reused in No Time to Die 2021. The next car here is the 1997 BMW 740i Aspen Silver Metallic. It was rebadged as 750i when it featured in the Bosnian-era film Tomorrow Never Dies. Two other cars that sparked my interest are this awesome yellow Ferrari 458 Italia and this awesome Sebring Austin Healey replica. And finally we have this Triumph Scrambler 1200 Bond edition made to celebrate the 25th James Bond film No Time to Die 2021 starring Daniel Craig. And if you like your Bond cars, you're definitely going to be in your element here. We've even got a little pop-up shop here as well. Now you've seen the cars, let's take a look around the props. This is the cockpit fuselage rig of the Halo high altitude low opening jump plane used in the 1997 James Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies. Now here we have some of the original props for your eyes only. And here's the roulette table, again with so much Bond memorabilia here, including, again, some Saint memorabilia, just thrown in for good measure. And you win if you've just landed on red 27 or red 16. Now, because I'm an insufferable nerd, I noticed some of the things here which probably a lot of people don't notice. We've got some original Nixie tubes here. Do you remember these? Wow, very rare to find now. Now we had an amazing dinner laid on for us. I'm keeping the British end on. We were also joined by actors Alison Worth, Vanya Seager, John Moreno and stuntman Paul Weston. John plays Luigi in For Your Eyes Only, and he had a very funny story to tell.
The production officer said, John, the car will pick up at 8 o'clock and take you to location. And I said, fine, it did. We arrived at the location and I went into this building, which looked like a small bus station. And there was nobody there at all apart from the second assistant. And I went up to him and I said, well, where is everybody? He said, well, they're on location, John. I said, well, isn't it here? He said, no, it's over here. Now, look, I'll take you to the window. And we looked out of this window and across the valley, and it was a very deep valley, just mountains, way up there. And he said, that's the location. I said, well, how are we going to get there? He said, we're going in that. And he pointed to what looked. Didn't recognize it at first. He said, John, it's a cable car. I said, oh gosh. And at that point, Roger turned up. And I went up to Roger. I said, Roger, this is not the location. He said, I know, John. I said, I took him over to the window. I said, the location is up there. He said, yes, I know, John. And I said, you're going in that? He said, yes, I know, John. So I said, look, Roger, I'm really, I have to confess, I'm frightened of heights and the thought of going up there in a cable car. And he said, well, I feel a little bit like that as well, John. I tell you what we'll do. By now, a lot of other skiers have turned up to go in the cable car. And he said, we'll get the circuit assistant to get us in first. We'll stand in the middle of the car, and the young skiers will surround us, and we won't be able to see outside. I said, Roger, I said, I think I will be. I'm now John. I think I will be able to see outside. I said, I'll tell you what we'll do. I said, we'll stand in the middle, we'll close our eyes, we'll hug each other, and we'll sing a song. So I said, well, what song? He said, do you know that Vera Lynn song, We'll Meet Again? I said, Roger, is that quite appropriate? So that's what we did. We stood in the middle of this cable car, hugged each other, eyes closed, and sang, We'll Meet Again. I don't know what these younger skiers are around for to see if you're still elderly gentlemen hugging themselves and singing. Anyway, we got there. I don't remember how I got back, and we did that scene where Luigi Ferrari first meets Roger at the top of the ski. There is a shot of it, of the ski cable car going right to the top, but it is, well, that's it.
But there you go, this is quite an adventure, and I really do hope you like today's roadshow, which has completely blown me away.